Yashwant, just days to go for the Delhi elections. It seems like the BJP is pulling out all stops. The Aam Aadmi Party, led by Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, is widely believed to be the front runner in these assembly elections that will see voting for 70 seats on the 8th of Feb. The BJP seems to have taken up the challenge in what is a two-pronged strategy. One, to focus on the anti-CAA protests going on in Shaheen Bagh for over a month now, and the other, unveiled today, to attack the Aam Aadmi Party's biggest claim of fixing the government school machinery in Delhi. Home Minister Amit Shah retweeted a video today that showed Delhi BJP leaders visiting schools and exposing the lack of infrastructure. The AAP has responded saying some of those are non-functional schools and that the truth has been distorted. Meanwhile, the level of political attacks continues to find new depths. So will the Amit Shah election machinery be able to get the better of Kejriwal in this fight? Joining us now for their take are Yashwant Deshmukh, founder editor, Sea Voter International, and Neerja Chaudhary, political commentator and columnist. Welcome to both of you. Yashwant, let me begin by asking you whether Shaheen Bagh is going to be the big issue as some are claiming.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, Tamanna, because in our daily tracker, for the last three months, we have been doing a daily tracker in Delhi. And for almost like 2.5 months, Aam Aadmi Party was roughly hovering around 55%, and BJP was hovering around 25-26%, almost a gap of 30% between the two. But looking at the data from 16th of Jan till now, in the last 10 odd days, BJP has crawled up from 26 to 32% as on today. Aam Aadmi Party has gone down slightly to about 50-51. So the gap between the two parties, which was almost about 30% 10 days back, as on today within 10 days, that gap has reduced to 20%. Now, on one side, almost it did look like, Neerja will understand this better, it looks like that, okay, because of this rhetoric, the polarization, it's going up, shooting up really big time. But please remember, if I have to explain that in the market dynamics, BJP at 25-26% was at below par, really, because in Delhi, the BJP score vote is roughly about 34-35%. Approximately 35%. So they were actually getting, their stock was trading almost about 10 points below what their core value is in core vote share is in Delhi. So what have the last 10 days done in terms of Shaheen Bagh, the protests and the counter reactions and Desh ke Gaddaron ko kind of campaign and everything? BJP has finally started getting their core votes to mobilize and start speaking. But still it is about 4 points less than their own strength, which is like 35-36% probably. So they are reaching there. But does that mean that Aam Aadmi Party is getting down big time? No, it's not happening that way, because for the last 3 months on a daily basis, we have not seen Aam Aadmi support base going down below 50% at this point of time. As we are speaking right now, it has not gone below 50. So the way I look at it, I mean, the daily tracker certainly tells in the last 10 days, BJP has actually shot from 26 to 32. It's almost about 6-point gap shooting up. Aam Aadmi Party has slightly gone down from 55-56 to 51-52. Congress is still trading about 5% approximately, neither going up nor going down much way. But the number of undecided voter, which was roughly about 17-18%, that has gone down to about 12%. Okay. So that has, in the last 10 days, the campaign has actually helped the BJP to go up. But please remember, I will consider this campaign really helping BJP big time only when they cross their own threshold of 35%. Right now, as on today, they have not even touched their own threshold of 35%. They are below that threshold. Yes, they are back in action. Yeah. And please remember that during the Rajasthan,
wait a minute. Let me get Neerja in. So they're back in action because
Congress was leading almost by 20 points.
Yeah, because Yashwant, I remember we spoke a few weeks ago, and at that point, there was no question that Aam Aadmi Party was leading and Arvind Kejriwal was going to sort of, waltz back as Chief Minister. It seemed like easy peasy. Neerja Chaudhary, has that changed, and is it because of Shaheen Bagh?
I would say yes, if it has changed, and I don't personally have an assessment of it, the extent to which it has changed, because as you said 10 days ago when you went around Delhi, which I did in several parts, it seemed like a virtual sweep for Kejriwal, because 8 out of 10 people at random in different areas talked about Kejriwal and talked about those 3 magical words, "Kaam to kiya hai." And they wanted to give him another chance. Now, Shaheen Bagh and all it represents, and this is going to escalate by the day. Yesterday you had Anurag Thakur, today you have Parvez Verma talking about rapes. Those sitting in Shaheen Bagh, that if we win, lakhs of people will be out on the streets and there will be rape of women and so on. So they are really upping the ante in a very strident way, very unexpected. I don't remember that kind of a rhetoric coming from elected representatives of a party earlier. So will it change? Yes, it has changed. The counter polarization to CAA protest has taken place in Uttar Pradesh, we know that. Will it take place to that extent in a city like Delhi, urban, cosmopolitan, educated, where the voter is able to see through what political parties do, and where the voters seem to have made up his mind or her mind that it was going to be the basic issues of Bijli Pani's education, safety of women. Very clearly 4 or 5 issues used to be articulated by person after person. Now, yes, it can get polarized in sections, but and let's see how the next days pan out.
Yeah.
To see the extent to which it gets polarized.
So a multi-pronged attack, as I said in the beginning of this show, and Yashwant, I want you to come in on this. So Shaheen Bagh is at one end, and we've spoken about how Arvind Kejriwal has kept, a safe distance earlier. He's not said much on CA, NRC, but he keeps bringing the focus back on what his government has done. And that's where the BJP has attempted to hit him today with this video. Of BJP leaders going to all of these schools and saying that that claim of reviving the infrastructure is fake. There was a response and all of that as well. Do you think that that's going to be the focus in the next few days? That kaam to kiya hai. You have to change that narrative.
Well, they will go all out. I mean, they will go in every possible way that they can, and we know for sure. I mean, good, bad, and ugly of the campaign. I'm not discussing that merit or not being meritorious in that way. But yes, BJP is a well-oiled election machinery. I remember the point when before you asked Neerja the question, the point which I was trying to make, that even you remember the daily trackers when we were doing the Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. In Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, the gaps were almost as big as 20 points. But look at what final vote shares were. In Rajasthan it almost became equal by the time the election happened. But please remember, in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, they had the faces of Vasundhara Raje and Shivraj Singh Chauhan. There was a leadership impact on the top of which Amit Shah and Narendra Modi campaigned, and they built it up and they really took the fight right into the den of the Congress. And that is what had worked there. They'd lost the election, but yes, the fight became really, really close as far as the BJP and Congress were concerned over there. Now, in case of Delhi, BJP doesn't have a face here. That's the biggest trouble of the BJP. So whatever BJP is getting is primarily because its core vote that that remains to be roughly about a third of Delhi, you can say, as the core BJP vote. BJP was not even till now getting that core vote. And then there is almost a third of Delhi, which is clear-cut split vote, ऊपर हम मोदी को वोट देंगे, नीचे वाले में हम केजरीवाल को वोट देंगे. मोदी फॉर पीएम and Kejriwal for CM. For that 1/3 of Delhi, that one. Because in our daily tracker, when we are asking the question, if the assembly elections, Vidhan Sabha elections are held today, whom you are going to vote for, it's like 55 30 or 55-25 in favor of Aam Aadmi Party. But the next very question when we ask, whom will you vote for if the Lok Sabha elections happen today, it is just bang opposite, you know. In fact, in that way, Congress becomes number 2, roughly about 20 odd percent, and Aam Aadmi Party goes even further below, around 18%, and BJP crosses 55% in that particular question. So this we had seen in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. We were telling this every day that BJP is being honked out on the Vidhan Sabha question, but in Lok Sabha they are a very clear-cut split vote, and it got validated by the Lok Sabha results within the next 5 months of those results. You know that BJP swept Rajasthan, BJP swept Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, like that. Who would have thought of that way?
No, but
yes,
you know the difference now is the
same thing is happening in Delhi.
Yeah, the BJP seem to have accepted this, you know, Modi for PM, Kejriwal for CM formula till a few days ago. What has changed? What has changed, and why has Delhi become such a bitter fight? Nija, you want to come in on that? And also, will this strategy of hitting at the kaam to kiya hai, model really work? We've seen, one part of it today with the claim that the schools aren't doing as well as the Kejriwal government says. Will they continue down that line?
Look, yes, from the beginning it seemed like a local versus national election, with Kejriwal pressing the local issue and the achievements of his government, and the BJP was, pushing for the national themes. Now, it is adding what we saw today, this video about 8 MPs going out and capturing the schools. But there also, I don't know how much of that is going to work. Because certainly in many schools of Delhi, there has been reform. I dropped into one school absolutely at random, and I was amazed at what I saw. It used to be called the shit yard, that area. So what I'm saying now, it's a brick building, but what impressed me the most, all that was fine, clean toilets was fine, and I'd given no warning. It was to talk to the children. It was the confidence of the children that came across, and many of them were girls. These came from domestic servants, drivers, the lower strata of Delhi, and their aspiration. So I thought, if you can do that in the government schools of the capital of a country, there is something going there. But a more interesting thing was to talk to the neighborhood. They knew what had happened to the school in the last 3 years. You forget about what is anybody saying Shaheen Bagh, or somebody is saying Sarai Kale Khan or Mahipalpur. Leave that. Those in the neighborhood of this area had seen the transformation. So they would not be, they wouldn't buy this rhetoric ke kuch nahi hua hai. Just as in 2019 Lok Sabha election, people used to say, whether it was the gas cylinders, whether it was bijli coming, power being given, whether it was the houses being given to the not so well off sections of the country, people said, shuruaat to hui hai, something has started and more will come. So it's the half glass full or the half glass empty, and we want to give Modi more time. Of course, Pulwama added to that. So also in Delhi, people have seen in the area some transformation has taken place. There are the, there are the Rain Baseras, there are the Mohalla clinics. You and I know what, and Bijli Pani, of course, free up to certain number of units. So I don't know whether that thing of shooting down what the Kejriwal has done in terms of these 4-5 indices of development, whether that's going to cut ice. What we have to wait to see is how much the other rhetoric is going to cut ice. And as Yashwant was saying, if you have such a large number of 16, 17, 18% of people who are undecided, how many of that turn back to the BJP? That remains to be seen. Congress obviously is getting squeezed out in this fight.
No, I mean, the fact is Congress is nowhere in the narrative. It is about Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. Yashwant, I want to ask you a different question. Now, the Delhi elections are important. Of course, it's the national capital, etc. But the Delhi chief minister doesn't necessarily have a lot of power. It is a sort of a restrictive electoral victory in that sense. Why is the BJP pushing so hard for it? It's not like it's going to make a big difference either way. It's not a key Hindi heartland state, it's no UP. What is the thinking behind that?
Tamanna, please do never forget that, in the last 6 years, if you look at the electoral verdicts, the only state, which has kind of really rubbed it in against Mr. Shah's electoral strategy and campaigning of the Prime Minister was Delhi and Arvind Kejriwal. It's more of a bruised egos in that particular thing. He really won the election. I mean, 67 out of the 70, that kind of a verdict, that too at the peak of Modi's popularity. People in Delhi were very clear. They were very clear in their split vote they delivered. I guess that somewhere it did not go down well with the BJP leadership, that they could not win Delhi. And I can very well see why they could not, because Mr. Kejriwal, unlike the rest of the opposition leaders and the parties, is way too smart to understand what not to be done. You see, he voted for 370 in the parliament. Mr. Kejriwal did not go to the JNU. He did not go to Jamia Millia. He did not even go to Shaheen Bagh. He is keeping very clear, because he knows for sure that half of his support base, that vote that the Aam Aadmi Party is likely to get, is a die-hard fan of Pradhan Mantri Modi, die-hard fan of Amit Shah. And on those issues, they find it non-negotiable. He is way too smart to understand that he cannot deal with the BJP if he is taking the line of the Congress on the question of secularism, nationalism, and he invariably ends up his rallies with the Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So he is very smartly countering BJP with the work that he has done: free bijli, free pani, and dawai. That medicine, electricity, and water, three things that he has done very clearly, and he is not falling into the trap of the communal polarization which the BJP leaders are trying so hard. He is not allowing them to brand Arvind Kejriwal as anti-Hindu, which the BJP has been so easily doing with the rest of the other opposition leader, particularly the Congress leader, because of the stupidity of the Congress leaders. So this agenda or the debate on the secularism and the communalism, Arvind Kejriwal is way too smart not to fall in that trap, and keep on screaming Bharat Mata Ki Jai, keep on voting for 370 on Kashmir and everything. It's very difficult. And the moment we are getting into that territory, Nirja understands it better. The reason why Congress is unable to counter BJP is the same reason, because they are still not getting out of their the thought process on how the country has moved on the debate of secularism and the communalism, and what is the new normal of this country.
Neeta, you want to quickly respond
Congress
to that? It's an interesting experiment.
He has moved on.
I want to hear what Neeta has to say. I want to hear what Neeta has to say. Interesting to hear her thoughts as well, and also whether this is an experiment of how to deal with the BJP's nationalism card, which they have used against opposition parties in election after election. Nirja?
Yeah, I absolutely agree that the BJP was expected to try and polarize. They are going according to their script towards the end, in the penultimate round of the campaign. And certainly, I agree with Yashwant that Kejriwal has been very smart. He's not fallen into that trap so far. He's steered very smartly, steered around it, and again brought the focus back to the basic issues that face Delhi. And that seemed to be the desire of the electorate also, because they were articulating the issues on which they would be voting, which was all this bijli, pani, school, and the mohalla clinic.
So
very clearly, and the CCTV cameras. Now, There are two other factors I want to bring in here, which I think are going to make a difference. One is a clear leadership in Delhi, which is being provided by Kejriwal. Manoj Tiwari is no match at all. I don't know whether the BJP would have done better had they fielded Harshvardhan, for instance, who has, who's regarded well in the capital, but done it early enough. They did not do so. Another difference here is that instead of Mr. Narendra Modi coming in to campaign and pull the party's chestnuts out of the fire, this time they are trying with Mr. Amit Shah.
Yeah.
So far,
So I
Mr.
have
Modi
to wrap.
has not,
I have to wrap.
it was announced that he would campaign, he would be the face of the campaign.
Yes. I have to wrap, Neeja. Forgive me. I have to wrap, but two
It
very
is Mr.
important
Amit
points.
Shah leading the charge.
It's a very two important points. Amit Shah leading the charge, pulling out all stops, different kind of strategies this time round. We've spoken only about political strategy in this conversation. We've not made any comment on the level of politics that we have seen. But before I wrap, and I thank you, we must tell viewers that, some things are like a Pandora's box. You can't just pull it out for an election campaign and hope it will go away once the election cycle is done. Something that all political leaders need to look at very, very carefully. Thank you so much, Yashwant Deshmukh and Neerja Chaudhary, for joining me on the show.